share with you few important points which are going to strengthen your overall score in accounts subject in the accounts paper. So please focus and listen to these points carefully. Now the first thing which will help you gain an edge over others is to be thorough with your formats for accounts. Be it any account, be it a journal entry, be it ledger, be it a balance sheet. It can be any account, it can be any statement also. Okay, for example, inventory, depreciation, account current, etc. You have separate formats for each topic, for each aspect of your accounts. So you have to be thorough with those formats. Only then you can expect to be confident about getting a high mark. Okay, if you don't put the proper format, if you make a mistake in the format, then you will stand to lose a lot of marks even if you have knowledge of how to solve the question. So the importance of formats can never be underestimated. Okay, the second thing you have to be sure about is you should not make this mistake. In other words, please don't use short forms. Short forms not allowed. Okay, you cannot use short forms in the exam. For example, if you have trading account, okay, you have trading account. Okay, certain things are allowed, certain things are not allowed. Now, you cannot write TR account. This is not allowed. You can write trading account. A bar C is allowed for accounts. Okay, that is an allowed standard short form. That is okay. But you cannot say TR or you cannot say P&L. You cannot use purchase returns PR. You can't say CS for closing stock. These are not allowed. So if you do all these, this is a common habit. Any person, even I do that. I do it when I'm teaching or when I'm practicing at home. Any other person might also do this often, but please don't do this in the exam. That is an important point. So no short forms other than standard short forms. The third is a most important aspect which cannot be ignored. Working notes, preparation of working notes. See, what is the working note? What is the meaning of working note? If I have a question and there are certain things to be calculated in the question, for example, I have to find out the net profit. I have been given the indirect expenses and the gross profit. Suppose I have to calculate something. I don't have some figure readily available. I have to calculate that based on the numbers given in the question. Then if I don't have that figure readily, then I need to prepare a working note for that. For example, let me say for certain expenses like purchase and purchase return, you can show in the inner column and you can calculate. But certain things you cannot do. So in that case, what you will do is you have to prepare the working note. So in general, when you answer the question in the exam, first you will show the working notes. Okay, for example, working note 1, 2, 3 like this, and it can take as many pages as required. You have to assess that requirement of space and plan for it accordingly. Okay, some working notes take a lot of space, some take very less space. So depending on that, you have to calculate. For example, if you need to calculate depreciation, you have the cost or the return on value. I'll say return on value into the rate. Okay, say it is 10%. I'm just giving an example. Number of months, for example, 3 months. So you have to show this separately. You will not have space to show this in the main account form. So you have to show this separately. Suppose you get some amount. Okay, this is X1. Okay, XX1. This will come to the account. For example, this will go into the ledger. And here, this amount which is there, this is say working note 1. Okay, so this reference you will give as working note 1 here. So you will say depreciation. I'm writing short form but only for showing you. You will say working note 1 in the bracket and you will take that figure and you will write XX1 or whatever it is. Okay, and that reference should be correct. This should be the given reference, working note 1, working note 2, so on and so forth. So the importance of working notes is really high, and please be informed, working notes will constitute at least 40% of your marks, weightage of marks. So if you miss out to prepare, if you straight away just calculate the depreciation with your calculator, kids are very smart, they use the calculator and calculate the depreciation, they do it in a second, and if they just write that figure in the exam and there is no source or no trace of how the figure came from, then you will not get your full marks. Okay, so please don't ignore working notes. That's a very important aspect. And one more thing I want to tell you is your handwriting should be clear. Clear writing is required. Beautiful writing is not required. People don't lose marks because they don't have a good handwriting. People lose marks because it's not clear. It's not legible. It should be legible. Okay, that much of requirement is there. And the person correcting the paper should be able to understand the content what you have written. Third, the final point which I want to emphasize on now is, see, you should not go in for any shortcut of arriving at any answer. Do not use shortcuts. Now, what do I mean by shortcuts? Let me explain to you. Suppose I have a trading account where I have been given some sales. Okay, I've been given all figures here pertaining to trading account, and with regard to sales, I have sales as well as sales return. Okay, I have to draw two columns as usual, inner and outer. So I will do sales less sales returns. Okay, this is the way I will have to show. So I will have to deduct this in the inner column, and in the outer column I will write the net sales. Similarly, if I have purchases, I'm writing it in the top, but write it where it is required. Less, I'm writing short form also, purchase returns. So this again will come in the inner column. Okay, this has to be shown in the outer column. So this is how I will do. For example, if I have wages, okay, I have wages, I have to add outstanding wages. So if I have any outstanding wages, that is also pertaining to the current year. Okay, wages paid, add outstanding. So I have to add that, so that this is also taken as part of the expense. Instead of doing this, if some student does this, okay, I'll show you. Trading account, I have purchases. I just take the amount, some amount, less some amount. I don't show how I got that amount. Similarly, sales. What is the first figure? What is the second figure? We don't know what it is. We've not mentioned what it is. And then I take wages. Now they have got the correct amount. They have taken the wages paid, they add the outstanding, and then they get the amount. So these three figures, all these figures are correct. The ultimate answer is correct. I arrive at the correct amounts, arrive at the correct gross profit. But along the way, I lose a lot of marks. Why do I lose marks? Because I have not shown what is supposed to be shown. This type of shortcut is not allowed. This type of shortcut doesn't get you much in the exam, doesn't fetch you any rewards. So please be very careful. If you use shortcuts, you will end up losing a lot of marks. So don't use shortcuts, only go in for proper. See, this is again linked with the first point. Format is important, and the presentation is as important as the content in the presentation. I cannot just have a beautiful format, but if I don't show anything in that, then that doesn't do much for me. So please don't do this type of presentation. So overall, if you see in accounts, if you want to get at least 60% to 70% marks basis what you've studied, be thorough with the format. Don't use any short forms, don't use any shortcuts, write clearly, and please prepare working notes. With all these inputs, I'm sure you can get a lot of marks. Wish you all the very best.